Good morning, everybody. Happy game day. It is Tinker time for week 18, the last time I'll be saying that this season. This is the time when the wrong decision is going to turn that championship win into a loss, or the right decision turn that loss into a win. And that's what we're here to help you with. Before we jump into that, do want to say a big thank you to everybody that comes and hangs out with us in the chat, watches afterwards, checks us out on Spotify. We really, really appreciate your support. Speaking of turning wins into losses, the Colts played a game yesterday, and you know, we were talking before we came on, and you were saying you're all right with the play call, Ramey, and in a vacuum, I am as well. I think the big thing is, though, you try and draw them off sides, then you take the time out. Why in the hell is JT not on the field for what is arguably the most important down of the season?
Yeah, no, it's a fair argument, and the only thing I can think is that if they're going to run that play, you're hoping with Goodson in the backfield, you're much less likely to have a Texans defender follow him out of the backfield than if you run it with JT. JT has better hands, obviously. Goodson, they said, is the receiving running back, but he only had 6 catches all year. So I go back and forth. I think it was a good play call. It's what has been working all year long. They've been going for it on 4th down and running those, whether it's Mo Alley Cox running down the middle on 4th and 1 against Tampa Bay, or running a jet sweep with Pittman on 4th and 1 against the Titans. It wasn't Pittman. It was somebody else. I can't remember off the top of my head. But they were very creative on short yard to gains on 4th down. So I can't fault them. And Steichen said it during his press conference last night. He goes, if it works, nobody's talking about it. It just happened to be the last play of the season, so that's what everybody's going to talk about, and rightfully so. That's part of the job. So I'm happy with how the season ended up as a whole. They're much better than I thought they were going to be, but it's still disappointing seeing them lose in the way that they did after kind of struggling in the first half. The offense was terrible the whole game outside of the running game. Minshew couldn't do anything. I thought that was the bigger storyline, honestly, is the lack of creativity in the play calling in the passing game throughout the game to try to get Minshew in some kind of rhythm.
Yeah, and it's really a fine line with him, because you want him to get into a rhythm, but you don't want him throwing the ball 35, 40 times a game. That's not a recipe for success. Even though going into the game, I don't think anybody saw the Colts run game doing what they did. I mean, it was just ridiculous. Something like 8 yards a carry against a defense that had been fantastic against the run over the last several weeks. I kind of thought the path to victory for the Colts was going to be with Minshew throwing the ball. But I'm sure all Colts fans out there were pleasantly surprised with the way the run game showed up.
Yeah, I mean, it was what we were hoping for all year long, right? Taylor and Moss in there healthy, kind of beating up the whatever defense they're playing. I was surprised they had so much success. Kyle and I talked on Thursday. I actually thought the way they win is to limit Minshew and run the ball and control the clock and keep CJ Stroud off the field, which they did outside of a couple of drives. So
we got some people
yeah.
in the chat. Dubo says, good morning, boys.
What's up, Dubo?
Appreciate it, Dubo.
Game, Ramey. Yep. Yeah. And Captain Spock says, what's up, all, and that he melted an edible into his coffee.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
I'm looking forward to joining old Captain Spock up there on the Enterprise here.
I wonder if I can if I can just brew it that way. Just put my grounds in, put my edible, and pour my hot water over and brew. I wonder if that works.
Only one way to find out.
I'm gonna try it out. Yeah, it was too bad again about the Colts. I said before we got on it, it's why were you going with Goodson? Why was that the one to go with? I think you go with Jonathan Taylor and let him run the ball. He ran the ball 30 times. What? Yeah. What's wrong with 31? He had 6.3 a carry and a touchdown. 188 yards. Moss's was only had 6 carries, but he was 30 yards, 5 a carry. I mean, they were very effective at running the ball for sure. Nobody saw that.
Yeah.
No, I
Yeah.
definitely did not see that. But great season. You got AR will be back in time for camp and stuff next year, and well, probably he'll be good for some off-season activity.
Yeah, he should be good for most of the offseason. I think it was a 3 or 4 month recovery. Like, he was done for the season, but I think he'll be ready to roll for full off season. So you hope he's ready to go, and he avoids those fluke injuries, and then also keeps in mind that he's the franchise now, so he can't afford to take some of those hits he took that knocked him out as well. So I don't know. I'm happy. The bad thing is that division looks a hell of a lot tougher than it did a year ago too, with the Jags probably. I mean, I know the Jags are struggling, but they'll probably retool and be ready to roll next year. And then the Texans look like an up-and-coming team as well. So Titans have a quarterback of the future, you think, with Levis. And so it went from kind of being just a shitty division to where in the next 3 or 4 years, it could be one of the best and most competitive in the NFL for good reasons.
Yeah. I mentioned earlier in the comments before we jumped on about some Pro Bowl snubs. I mentioned there was several out there that were pretty egregious in my opinion. I'm a Lions fan, so I did a homer pick. It's definitely ARSB before. Guys, top 5 in every category. I just don't see it. Yeah, Puka's having a great season, but I don't see how you can put him over ARSB.
I'll take the low-hanging fruit. I don't know how you leave Josh Allen out.
That's especially they put Mahomes in over him. I mean, come on.
That makes no sense. I mean, he's leading the league in touchdowns. I get that he turns the ball over a lot, but he's been so much better than Mahomes this year. And that team has just been riding him. I would say he should be in the conversation for MVP if they don't win today, which I think they will tonight. I don't know how you leave him off the Pro Bowl. I don't like the Pro Bowl anyway. We talked about this, the fan vote. I think Matt, you were chiming in the chat on Thursday. Like, you got to leave it to coaches and players, and you got to take the fan vote out of it. I like what the NHL does. Actually, they do a player vote for the first 32 players, and then they open it up for a fan vote for the final 12 or 13 players.
So I'd be fine with that.
Yeah.
I just think back, and I know it's a different sport. I don't know, 7-8 years ago when Kansas City Royals fans gamed the system, and you had damn near the entire roster there in the All-Star game, and it was garbage. The Pro Blow. I think for my Pro Bowl snub,
football Pro Blow.
I'm going to go with Brandon Ayuk. He was somebody I was high on to start the season. He led the NFL in yards per reception. He went for over 1,300 yards, 7 touchdowns, and he did that on just 101 targets.
He did it on 72 receptions. Puka and A.J. Brown that made it to hit 1,400 yards are at like 140, 150 receptions. So he's effective. I don't get it. He was number 1 in yards per reception in the NFL and number 2 in yards per route run. It doesn't make any sense.
And if you're going to say Ayuk, Matt, somebody with almost identical stats, DJ Moore. He had a really good year. He had actually had 20 more receptions than Ayuk, but he had 1,300 yards and 8 touchdowns on that Chicago team, and really was just about their only receiving option. So I think, I mean, it's hard. I could have made it with the 4 that they picked. It's hard to argue. I would argue that A.J. Brown maybe didn't deserve to be in there. The other 3 had really good years, and I think were worthy of it. So it's a tough argument to make.
It is. We got Terry Fickner here in the chat. Auto draft champions. Thanks for the tips, boys. You are very, very welcome. I recall a conversation I had with Kyle here about 4 or 5 days ago. He was going to claim that championship for himself. I quickly poured cold water on that.
Co-championship, of course, but
that is nothing.
Yeah, my brother got thrown in a team last minute, and it was auto drafted, and he took over it, and I helped him as well as you fellas as well. And he won. So I think it's nice that you can take a team that you didn't even draft and mold it and fix it and waiver the hell out of it and get a championship. That's a big one too, Dubo. Buda Baker making the Pro Bowl over Josh Metellus. Me and Matt loved me some Josh Metellus, being he went to Michigan. I really loved him there. So versatile, man. He can do a lot.
Yeah, Buda Baker shouldn't have made it, period.
No.
Especially over Metellus or Antoine Winfield. I mean, Winfield is
just another bad one.
Ridiculous this season. And I saw some, incredibly cherry pick stat about interceptions and forced fumbles and sacks and this, that, or the other. But just the way he played the entire season, he was fantastic. He was making plays all over the damn field all season long.
Yeah.
I think that's another one where the fan vote got him just because Buda Baker has such a recognizable name. He has been good for a while, but this year should not have been on the roster.
Nope.
No, because even Jalen Ramsey made it and he only played most of the season, played only 9 games, something like that. Even L'Jarius Sneed should have probably made it over Jalen Ramsey with the full season played and been very well. He shuts down people. I think, what did I see? He allows a 56% passer rating when targeted. Sneed does. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. We got Captain Spock. Kansas City Royals' most memorable moment was George Brett sitting out a World Series game for hemorrhoids. Damn.
God, I still remember George Brett's face, the way he charged out of that dugout when he got tossed for the Pine Tar game, and just that. Oh my! I mean, frightening man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially
and spits all flying out of his mouth as he's running. Like, oh my God, dude!
As fast as he run in his life,
right? Up them dugout steps. Oh my God, crazy. Let's see what we got here. I follow if you can burp. Good stream, boys. Thanks, man. Appreciate you joining us through the Twitch. If you can, give us a follow on there. We'd really appreciate it, man.
The Twitch.
The Twitch.
Fuckers.
So we got a lot of players out today.
Yeah. That DFS lineup this morning was difficult.
It was. I even entered a couple where I did, since there's 7 late games and 6 early games. I even entered a couple all early and all late and found it somewhat challenging as well.
Yeah.
Alvin Kamara's out.
Ooh,
fire up your Jamal Williams.
I follow if you can burp. Which one of you guys are burping? I don't.
We already did this before.
Yeah.
Did we?
Yeah.
Well,
I think during the 100 subscriber celebration.
Yeah, it was during the
okay. Yeah,
watch party or whatever the hell it's called.
Captain Spock makes a great point. I brought it up last week or maybe Tuesday with Ramey. I can't remember, or Thursday with Ramey. I can't remember. Imagine being dumb enough to have a Week 18 championship in fantasy. I've been in one before, and it was stupid. And even, what was the one you were dealing with, Matt, where the playoffs started before the
buys were over? The playoffs started week 14.
That was horseshit.
I lost Jonathan Taylor to a bye.
A couple of seasons ago it was.
Week. Yep.
Yeah,
that's also up there in terms
if you're
going
to be a good fantasy sports commissioner, you got to set it up so it makes sense. I mean, you can't fucking do this to people.
Although
if you set me an invite for a league like that, I would not join it.
Although if you were in one of those leagues and you had Jonathan Taylor, you'd be very happy this morning.
Yes.
Yeah. No shit.
T. Higgins
Blue
is out today.
Jays. Hey gents, how's everyone's Sunday going so far? So far, so good.
Yeah.
What's up, Blue?
What's up, man? Anyway. All right. That's Tinker time for today. See you guys.
No.
Shit. Obviously, the big game of the day is Sunday night football. Bills travel down to Miami for take on the Dolphins. I'm torn on this game. I think Buffalo can win. I think Miami's injuries might be too tough to overcome.
I'm going to root for Miami because several weeks ago, I think it was both Ramey and I proclaimed that the Bills were going to miss the playoffs.
I think we all said it.
Yeah, if they lose today, they're out because of that Steelers victory. I think this is going to be a huge Tyreek Hill game. I think both in terms of, strategy, but also necessity with Jalen Waddle and Raheem Mostert, both very likely to be out. I think it's going to be an uphill battle for them, but I'm going to give them the edge because they're at home. And I think it's going to come down to a Josh Allen turnover in a key moment.
Yeah, that seems fitting. Like where he's just tearing it up and they're driving and
just throws a stupid back foot interception.
Mm-hmm.
Probably not targeting Stephon Diggs.
Mostert has a chance to play, doesn't he?
No, unlikely. He's unlikely to play.
They're both unlikely.
Not expected to play. Javon Holland, the safety, was downgraded to questionable yesterday, which is surprising. He did get knocked up in the game last week, but they did get Jerome Baker
pregnant.
Got pregnant. Did I say that?
Wow.
You said he got knocked up.
Got knocked out last week.
Oh.
Jesus.
I continue set up.
Uh-oh. Matt is becoming Blue Jays' enemy. We're going to have an international conflict here. And Matt, what the hell are you starting some WW3 or what?
Well, what's that movie, Canadian Bacon, where we go to war with Canada?
Yeah,
maybe this is how it starts.
Yeah, that was John Candy's final movie, I believe.
Was it really?
Loved you. I think so. Captain Spock, Fangio's D keeps getting better. I wouldn't count the Finns out. They lost Bradley Chubb, though. That was a huge loss after losing Jalen Phillips last month or a month ago. That's tough. Their O-line is kind of beat up. They're all hurt. It looks like a lot of them are going to play, but they're all just kind of beat up. And I think that, like, if you're Mike McDaniel and you've been scheming and you've been thinking about things for this game, a lot of things that you're going to want to probably be doing is going to rely on how well your offensive line plays.
Absolutely. I mean, it's everything starts down there in the trenches, and you've got to be able to give your quarterback some time to hit those talented receivers. When it comes to O-line play, I'm more comfortable with Josh Allen dealing with bad O-line play just because of his mobility and history of not getting repeated concussions. Tua can move around a little bit, but he's not somebody who's going to take off and run the way Josh Allen will. I think you could see Josh Allen go for over 50 yards rushing today. I would not be shocked. If they're going to, I think if they're going to win, this is a game where he puts the team on his back.
Could be.
It's what he's been doing for the past 6 weeks, right?
Pretty much.
So
Blue Jays says they got a decent snowfall up there in Toronto area.
We got a little bit this weekend.
Yeah,
down
there
in
was
Indy.
There was a little bit here as well this morning when I woke up. Snow in February, 76. That is the last time it snowed on the beach here. God. Edibles in your coffee, beaches, making me want to go there. John Candy used to be part of the Toronto Argonauts CFL team. Wayne Gretzky was a part owner too. Did not know that either. Goulet's dad took him to a game when the Kings came to town and fell asleep in the second period. Must have been a high scoring game. I feel like you would have woke up from the, goal scoring.
Yeah.
Siren? Bell?
Horn?
Do they usually do that for the road team?
I don't know. Maybe they didn't do that a long time ago. Maybe the referee just went like this.
That's possible.
Rugby or whatever. What do they do? Like, I don't know. They do something weird in rugby. But anyway, fuck it. Santa Cruz, California. All right.
Okay. So, playoff scenarios. We have one spot available, right? 2 spots that are available. The Bills lose and they're out.
Yep.
Jags lose and they're out. Right? Because I think if
Hold
the
on.
Jags lose, that puts the Steelers in.
Yeah, either Buffalo has to lose or Jacksonville has to lose or tie for the Steelers to be in.
Yeah. God, that's crazy. That's crazy that in Buffalo wins, they're the 2 seed, aren't they?
Yep. If
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Huh. It's crazy.
Hell yeah, it is. Blue needs our help. He needs a same game parlay
All right.
for the Vikings-Lions game, if possible.
Oh,
Bro.
yikes. That's rough.
Have you taken a look at it yet, Blue Jays? It's ugly.
There ain't a lot on there.
There's not a lot on there, and it's hard to throw some stuff. Let's see. I'm not logged in, of course.
Never prepared. But I'm logged in. So I'll share my screen.
Good.
Stand by. Sharing. Here we go. Detroit Lions, same game parlay. I know Dubo has a vested interest in this game as well. So I'm going to start off with the Lions on the money line. We don't know how long who is going to be playing for Detroit as far as, ARSB and Laporta and all that. But I am very confident that they win this game. So I'm going to start there.
We've lost Dubo.
He's unsubscribed. There isn't really shit under passing props. We've got completions, attempts.
Yeah, I suppose Justin Jefferson 80 plus is definitely doable. I expect a lot of secondary players for the Lions to play today. CJGJ's back today, or CD Deuce, whatever he's calling himself this week. I really think they need to have a game there to mesh a little bit, but I still like Justin Jefferson 80 plus.
I'm going to go 90 plus.
Ooh. Look at the big money on.
All right. We're at plus 114.
Captain mentions Monty for a touchdown. He's not on there, I don't think. Was he?
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, I think he's the favorite.
He's not in.
120.
I misspoke. He's not in the rushing props.
Yeah, he's in there.
I don't know how long they're going to play. I play him for the first quarter and get him the hell out of there.
You don't want anybody. You don't want anybody to get hurt.
I mean, they are still technically alive for the second seed, but they would need both Dallas and Philly to lose.
Do they need Philly to lose?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I see Philly losing. I don't know about
Dallas. I think that's more likely than Dallas losing to Washington. I do think Washington's going to cover today, but
yeah, it's a big number. What was it?
The Giants beat the Eagles?
13 and a half.
No, they very close.
Played them tough. Okay. That's
it's the only game the Eagles have won in like the last 6 weeks.
There ain't really a whole hell of a lot here. I don't know how long Gibbs is going to play.
I think the
Ty
Lions
Chandler.
I think the Lions can score like 19 and a half points at least.
Yeah, that's fair.
I mean,
I'll put him at 20 and a half.
It's going to be Teddy Bridgewater. I don't think he's going to be.
He's very competent.
Yep.
We'll go over 20 and a half total points. Now we're at plus 128.
Didn't really do much, did it?
No, not really.
Certainly didn't.
Let's see what we got under scoring props.
Yeah, throw a touchdown score around here, man.
Jefferson's plus 100 to be an anytime touchdown score.
Yeah, he's at even money. I'll fuck with that. Plus 325. I'm cool with that. You good with that, Blue?
Yeah, Lions on the money line. What's that?
Nothing. I was looking at the wrong screen. I was making sure Matt didn't accidentally do first touchdown score like when it worked out for him that one time.
Slap a unit on there. Bingo.
Who was that when you did that? Was that
TJ
Laporta?
Hawkinson?
Oh, that's right.
It was a happy mistake. Yeah. Let's see. Blue and Spock going back and forth about Monty's workload. You know, I don't think either Monty or Gibbs is going to play past the first half. I imagine you're going to see quite a bit of Craig Reynolds today. You know, the big thing for them, they're alive for the number 2 seed. It's incredibly unlikely. The goal for the Lions should be to get through today healthy and get ready for next week's home playoff game.
Against?
It's probably going to be the Rams.
The worst matchup imaginable for both teams. They don't want to play us either.
Yeah, they won't be able to run the ball with Williams. I think the Lions have decent.
Or they will be able to run the ball with Williams. He's looked so damn good against everybody.
He is, especially given his size. He's a smaller dude.
But I expect the atmosphere at Ford Field to just be insane. I mean,
it better be. Or I'm blaming Brandon.
Had a home playoff game in forever.
Oh.
Brock Wright's inactive for Detroit.
Oh boy, he was inactive the last few weeks.
So he ain't gonna be out there vulturing touchdowns. Let me refresh this fucking page and see if there's anything new. Nope. There sure ain't. Nothing really of note here that we don't already know about or hasn't been discussed.
Yeah. Same thing that makes it a tough fantasy weekend makes it a tough gambling weekend too, because outside of a handful of teams, you don't know who's going to play or how long they're going to play. So, I mean, this Vikings-Lions game is a perfect example. I mean, the Vikings could very well win this game if Detroit decides to pull everybody after the first quarter. You're doing gambling is just guessing, but even more so this week, you just don't know.
Kyle, are there any bets today you like looking at this slate? Anything that jumps out to you? Any spreads or totals? I know we've got that massive total there in New England. When I looked earlier, it was 29. It still is.
It still is.
Realize Iowa made the jump to the AFC East, but congratulations to them.
Captain Spock says, I call the Lions' long-term drought the curse of the NFL gods for the way they treated Barry Sanders. Well, this goes farther back than Barry Sanders. What's his name? What's his name, Matt?
Gonna have to give me more than that.
Their quarterback back in the 50s, 60s.
Bobby Lane.
Yep, thank you. And he was happy there in Detroit. They won some NFL championships. And then they traded him to the Steelers, I want to say. And on the way out the door, he famously said, you guys won't win shit for years. And
how rude.
That's been true. And
fault.
There was actually a Peyton's Place episode last season where Peyton went to Detroit and met with actor Jeff Daniels, who's a local Michigan guy and big Lions fan. And they did a ceremony to try and lift the curse of Bobby Lane. And then that episode came out before the midseason switcheroo of how the way the Lions looked last season. And they've been winning games ever since.
So what you're saying is
I'm
the
crediting
Lions.
Peyton Manning and Jeff
Yes.
Daniels for helping to lift the curse
You
of Bobby
took the
Lane.
words out of my mouth.
Yep, and it
Welcome,
sucks I gotta
welcome
say.
to the Peyton Manning fan club.
Oh, I love Peyton Manning, the football player. Talented, great, prepared, smart as hell, won some Super Bowls. But Peyton Manning, the dude, he's a little strange guy.
Who
And,
isn't?
You know, I could
Me.
use his forehead to project the movie on my wall here, or
Hey.
to watch TV because it's
There's nothing wrong with
humongous.
having a large.
It's kind of comparable to yours, Ramey. I can't. Maybe if you leaned a little closer, I
Yeah.
could see.
Well, I
But,
embrace it rather than just wearing a hat all the time.
Yeah,
you know.
I was waiting for it. But yeah, Dubo, they didn't treat Megatron well on the way out the door, either, asking for what part of his signing bonus back, I believe, Matt.
Yeah, it was something like that.
You know, it was some millions of dollars. I don't know how much it was, but they were kind of dicks about it. And then it's been different since Sheila Hampford kind of took over. I don't know if it's just because she made the right hires with Brad Holmes and him hiring Dan Campbell. So
Chris
I don't
Spielman's
know.
there too, isn't he?
Spielman is. Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. He's a special assistant to the owner or GM or
Yeah.
something like that, consultant type thing. The guy from the Browns that was there forever, he's also there. What's his name, Matt? Fuck.
I don't remember.
I
He was
can't
there as
remember.
a consultant.
He's been he's still there, and he's been a huge had a huge effect on things as well. Except I can't remember his name.
So do you like this Browns Bengals game?
No T. Higgins.
Yeah, Browns plus 7.5, under 37.
Yeah, that's
Neither team has anything to play for, right?
no. The Browns are resting everybody. The Bengals, they're playing out the string. I think Joe Mixon needs 2 touchdowns for some contract incentive. I was kind of looking at that earlier. I mean, I guess if I had to go one way or another, I'd probably lay the points with the Bengals.
Okay.
But that's one that I kind of just want to stay away from.
Yeah. I did put one together before we got on here. I'll get your guys' thoughts about it. I used the boost that was on DraftKings today, the 100%. But I did a 4-legger. I took the Bucks money line. Took Titans plus 4.
Okay.
Took the Seahawks money line. And I took the Raiders money line. And that got me plus 631.
Say it one more time.
Bucks money line.
Mhm.
Seahawks money line.
Mhm.
Raiders money line. And Titans plus 4.
Oh, shit.
Those are all teams that have something to play for. Titans don't really have anything to play for, except spoilers to the Jags. I'm tempted to take the Titans money line outright because I think they might win that game, especially if Lawrence ends up not playing. But I gave myself a little bit of cushion there with that. It's down to 3.5 now, but it was 4 at the time I took it.
Ain't bad.
Yeah, I bumped up that line just a little bit more and clicked it.
Then I put the 100% boost on it and took it to plus 12 something. So
Look at
yeah.
you.
threw a couple dollars on there, trying to make up for all my losses yesterday.
Spock says Megatron doesn't get the credit he deserves from a lot of people, right up there with Rice and Terrell Owens. In my opinion, he was better than Randy Moss.
I would agree with that. I think, I mean, Jerry Rice is just the uncontested GOAT. And then you've got
Dubo, in what way?
I mean, Moss was faster, but Megatron just had this combination of size, speed, and hands that was just ridiculous. I mean, he was damn near like Derrick Henry playing wide receiver. It just somebody that big should not be that fast.
No.
And there were plenty of Matthew Stafford throws into triple coverage where he just went up and took the damn ball.
Sure did. And
Yeah.
his hands are effed now. It was a few years ago. He showed pictures of his hands or whatever, and he's got fingers that just don't go the right way.
Like when you holds his, and it's like,
Yeah, like he's got like
Torrey Holt's the same way.
Yeah, get some.
it's crazy
rough.
that he's still only what, 35.
Oh, Megatron.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, he's young. He only played like 9 years.
Yeah.
What do you dickheads say we build a lineup?
Let's do it.
All right. Kyle, are you ready? Are you logged into the site?
38 years old. Turned 38 in September.
Oh. He's almost my
Because
age.
I wasn't sure either. What are we doing?
Now that we've established how old Megatron is.
We're building a
DFS.
We're building a DFS lineup. Okay.
Here we go. So we got some options at QB up top. Hurts, Prescott. Both with something to play for. Both are trying to wrap up the division in tough divisional games. A little bit further down, you've got Jordan Love sitting there at 6,600. Tough matchup against the Bears at home, but he's been playing pretty damn well. Kyler Murray has a nice matchup. Seattle's defense has been ass over the past month to 6 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Tyrod Taylor has looked pretty damn serviceable when he's played, and there's a little bit of rushing upside there as well.
And Philly's defense has looked trash the last few weeks too.
Yeah,
they sure have. Coming down a little bit further, you got Ryan Tannehill, Bailey Zappi in a blizzard.
I think that's a little too far.
All right. Jake Fromm's going to be the backup today.
pick a quarterback, Matt.
You know what? I'm going to go cheap. I'm going to go with Tyrod. I like the bit of rushing upside he has. He's not afraid to push the ball down the field to Darius Slayton and Jalen Hyatt. Philly has been very, very, whatever the word, shitty in the back end of their secondary for as long as I can remember this season. It's a good opportunity. And truth be told, I think the Giants have a halfway decent chance of pulling off the upset today. If that happens, it's going to be because of the play of Tyrod Taylor. So I'll start out with him.
You know, the Giants looked like a dumpster fire the first few weeks of the season. They've been competitive. I mean, their record's not great, but they've played really well.
Yep. They're hanging around. So now we're at running backs. CMC ain't playing. Kyron Williams, don't look for him. Kamara's out. Pacheco.
Give me Connor and Zamir White. Both of them.
Oh,
James Conner and Zamir White.
That's my two picks. They're both $6,000, or they're low. They're cheap.
Okay. Ramey.
All right, I'm not. You guys.
We're on to wide receiver. Kyle doesn't really want to participate, so he just blurted both of his out.
No, I just like them both this week, and I think they'll score some points, and they're going to play the whole game.
Yeah, wide receiver. I like Mike Evans.
I like it.
That they're going to play. He's going to play the entire game. They have to win. So I think Baker will look for him, and he'll have a nice game. For a cheaper option, are we doing two or?
Yeah, just give me two.
For a cheaper option, I don't hate Romeo Doubs.
Okay,
he's like 5,800, I think.
Yeah. I'm going to plug in the Patriots defense real quick. They're playing there in a blizzard.
They were a little pricier this week.
They're 3,600, but I don't anticipate many points being scored there.
Yeah.
Trevor Siemian does not instill confidence in me and his ability to move the ball down the field against that defense. They're a little on the pricier side, but just given the way the Jets offense has looked, and now you mix in the weather, which we've overstated the effects of earlier this season a little bit, but yeah, I'm going to go there. And I'm going to plug in our flex. I'm going to be greedy, and I'm going cheap. I'm going to go with Jordan Mason. I realize that that other dickhead is going to be starting, but Jordan Mason has looked damn good in his very limited snaps this year, and he has more 3-down abilities than what the fuck is that other dickhead's name? I can't think of it.
Mitchell.
Yeah, Elijah Mitchell. And I think with CMC being hurt, this isn't his first calf injury. They're going to want to go into the playoffs with Elijah Mitchell being as healthy as possible. And he's somebody else who has been bitten by the injury bug. I wouldn't be shocked after the first quarter if it's the Jordan Mason show.
Tight end.
So we got 5,600. Probably be smarter to go a little bit cheaper.
You want to pair Tyrod up with Darren Waller?
I don't hate it.
I don't hate it.
Philly has struggled against tight ends.
Yeah, at least a nice chunk of money. For
6,500 for a wide receiver. Ridley, Sutton, Godwin. We're not going to start both of them. Hopkins playing for some incentives.
Yeah.
Dillon, I don't want to play. Garrett Wilson, I don't really want to play today. Tyler Lockett's sitting there.
Addison against the fucking Lions defense? Still a bunch of money, though.
Yeah, I don't want to leave that much on the table. But maybe we upgrade at flex. Let me see what happens if I plug in Addison. Now we got 5,800 in the flex. That gets us Elijah Mitchell. Ty Chandler, don't want any of that. Don't really want to start Chuba against Tampa. But then again, any given Sunday, like we saw yesterday with Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah. Herbert's been playing well lately. I don't know if he continues that against Green Bay or not. I don't know, man. This is tough.
It is.
All right, hold on.
You got Brian Robinson Jr. hanging out there.
Yeah. He may not.
What about can we save some money? Where's Dortch at? How much is Dortch? Could be the top receiver there again this week. He did a fine week last week, and they're playing
$4,600 US.
Of course, then you got Connor and Dortch in for the Cardinals. I don't know if you want to invest in two players in that offense.
You know what? I think for our flex, we should come back to the other side of that game. And I'm going to plug in Tyler Lockett. I think there's going to be some points scored in that game. Neither defense is playing well. Arizona is more susceptible to the run than the pass, but on the whole, they're not that great of a defense. You guys happy with this?
Yeah. I
don't think I'm happy with any of the lineups I submitted today. I'm just hoping.
Yeah. I don't know.
All right. $3. I'm in.
Blue Yays. I believe his name is Mitchell, the dickhead. I go Captain Spock. Dang, I'm ripped. It works twice as good when you melt it in your coffee. I know what Kyle's going to be doing his next day off.
Today.
Captain agrees with your Mason call. Oh,
yeah.
But we didn't end up going with him though.
I got him in another lineup.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Hold on. Let me switch some things. It doesn't matter. I'm buying fucking wings for you guys. I lost.
You sure are, and they are going to be delicious.
Mm-hmm. Especially with all that cocaine on them.
Mm-hmm.
Blue Jays, any underdogs you like outright?
Titans.
Yeah.
That's the one. I mean, I
Nope.
wouldn't put a ton of money on it, but that's the one I could see them beating Jacksonville, and Jacksonville just completely finishing the shitting of the bed. Rolling around in it.
Rolling around in it.
Yeah.
I would say the Giants.
It's a good one.
Just Philly has looked like they're in disarray, and it's not a recent event. It's been over the past month plus. Tyrod Taylor, he's not a superstar or anything like that, but generally he takes care of the ball. He can move the offense. The Giants' defense has improved as the season has gone on.
Yeah. I like the Cardinals. Underdog at home versus Seattle. Matt mentioned they've been hemorrhaging yards and points, and they're not the same team they were even 5-6 weeks ago.
Yeah. Blue, you could always take Miami as a dog outright.
Sure.
Yeah. I like them too. I don't think he's going to bet against his own self-interest, though.
No, I don't either.
Hey, my lock hit yesterday, by the way.
Nice.
Oh, good for
Congratulations.
you. Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot what your lock was. Poor Rainey. Louis says Falcons and Titans were his thoughts. It depends on what the Falcons do there offensively, but it's in New Orleans too. So that's why I don't like it as much.
What about the Chiefs?
Blaine Gabbert starting.
Yeah.
Chargers suck. This feels like a game where the Chargers lose to a backup quarterback. They got Easton Stick. What? They really don't have any reason to play anybody. I know you picked Eckler as one of your aces. Is that right? Did I make that up? I did make that up, didn't I?
I don't know.
You made it up. And the Chargers do suck. Is there a path for the Vikings? Yes. The Lions rest their starters, and the Vikings can win against.
So for the Vikings to make the playoffs, they have to win. The Packers, Seahawks, and Buccaneers lose, or the Vikings win, and the Packers, Seahawks, and Saints lose.
So you need the Packers and Seahawks to lose, and then one of
the Bucks and Saints. Yeah.
That could happen.
It's possible.
If the Bucks and Saints lose, and Atlanta wins, don't they win the division?
Yes. That's the only way Atlanta can make the playoffs. They have to win the division. The Saints can make it as a wild card team with a win and a Seahawks loss or tie and a Packers loss or tie. Or the Saints tie and the Seahawks and Packers lose.
So you're saying there's a chance?
There is a chance.
Like 1 in 1,000? More like 1 in 1,000,000. I love movie references, by the way, guys. You might not know that about me, but I know a lot of them. Pick them up. I use a lot of them.
Oh, Kyle.
My brain is full of useless tidbits of knowledge. Yeah. And I'm here to help.
And I will say, Dubo, just for you, buddy, today I find myself a Bears fan. FTP. I hope the Packers lose. So next season, Jordan Love, are you drafting him as a top 10 quarterback?
He was one this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I would. I think he's a guy you could pick up late that people don't really pay attention to.
Well, he's the QB5 this year.
I was going to say he's 5.
I think you could pick him up in like the 10th or 11th round, and nobody's drafted him because nobody thinks about him as a top 10 fantasy quarterback.
Well, I had an option to draft him or Daniel Jones.
Oh.
And I went with Daniel Jones. I thought we would see continued improvement, and that did not happen.
No, I also drafted Daniel Jones in a league, and could have got Love. I mean, Love is great fantasy quarterback. He throws multiple touchdowns a game. It's definitely if you could get him and pick up somebody else earlier, then you could wait on him because, like Ramey said, he possibly will drop just because people aren't 100% prepared.
If they're able to fix that defense a little bit, that could impact his fantasy numbers because he was a product. He just had to throw. Like they had to score a bunch of points to keep up because their defense played so poorly at times this year.
They did, and with Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon, various degrees of injured throughout the season. I'm just kind of looking at the final rankings for the season here, and it's shocking to me that Baker Mayfield finished ahead of Tua. Baker was the QB 9, Tua was the QB 10. I mean, it was a difference of 3.2 points across the length of the season,
but still,
all that shit counts.
Yep, it sure does.
Daniel Jones' revenge tour starts now. There we go. I dig your enthusiasm, Blue.
Is he the starting quarterback for the Giants next year?
Oof.
I know he has to be on the Giants next year.
Right. I think so. I want to look at his. So they have a potential out after next year with only 22.2 dead cap.
I bet they take that.
Maybe they draft somebody this year. He doesn't seem like the answer to me. Granted, he's been out for quite a while, but just the improvement that we were looking for just wasn't there.
Yeah.
You know, you like him in fantasy because of his mobility and because he runs, but he still makes shitty decisions with the ball. He doesn't take care of the ball. His accuracy is not that great. He doesn't do it for me. Lesson learned. I will not be drafting him next year.
He regressed so much before he got hurt from last year, and I don't know what happened. He just did not look like the same quarterback he did a year ago. And they really didn't change all that much. I know we kind of blamed it on his lack of receivers to start the year, but they added Darren Waller and Saquon was back, and he just couldn't do it. I don't know that he's a starting caliber NFL quarterback. I don't know why they gave him so much money.
I mean, that's the going rate. They thought they had something, and you were seeing a little bit of improvement. You know, he was never going to set the market.
No.
But, you know, 40 million is roughly the going rate for a competent NFL starter, you know, especially the dude is still young.
Yeah, but he's not good.
Yeah, he's not.
I just think you could have got him for 4 years. Could you have gotten him for $30 million a year? Like, I don't know. I don't think so. Just they weren't going to, he wasn't going to take less than what Jared Goff is making. That's much better. He's not as good as Jared Goff.
No, he's not.
No, he's not.
But that's the Giants' problems. So.
Yeah, it's true.
Jared Goff is 8? QB 8?
Yes.
Yeah. And Stroud's technically QB 9 because of last night's game, and that kind of pushed Baker to 10 and Tua to 11. I don't know if your thing didn't update, but
I'm just looking at through week 17.
I understand.
I don't care about week 18. I know there's some people out there that have to, but sucks to be you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why would you? Cool. Lot going on. I mentioned before this could be a shorter tinker time than normal because I knew
not
there
much
wasn't
to
going to be
tinker.
not a lot of start sit questions. I knew there wouldn't be. Just trying to talk some BS, and we'll be getting into fantasy baseball. I'm so excited for the NFL playoffs to start too. God, I'm ready.
Yeah, be a fun weekend.
It will be wild card weekend, man. I think there's two games Saturday, 3 Sunday, 1 Monday.
Yep, that'd be correct.
Mm-hmm.
What is on the menu for today? It is homemade lasagna for me.
Shoot.
Well, the noodles aren't homemade, but everything else is, homemade.
I think we'll let it slide.
Yeah, thanks. Good. I didn't roll out pasta this morning at 5 a.m.
I'll be having tacos later.
I
Taco
think
Bell?
we were talking about doing this for Tuesday's episode, weren't we, Matt?
I think so.
We'll do that Tuesday because I need to look at a couple things. I want to see how it all ends today, and we'll definitely do that Tuesday, Blue Jays, along with some fantasy baseball stuff.
Yeah. So should it be time where I break the news?
Sure. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Okay. So we've talked about moving into fantasy baseball, and I've just been honest with the guys. I'm not as big of a I'm not a fantasy baseball guy. I've never done it. I've tried to do it a couple of times. I just don't get into it. So I'm going to be taking a step back and letting them excel because this is something that they're truly passionate about. You'll still see me from time to time. Hopefully it just depends on where it goes, but I'm going to be supporting and participating. I'll be in the chat like Matt was when he was sick, just talking shit. But you may not see my face on here as often in the weeks to come. But it's not for any reason other than I just didn't feel like I could bring as much to the fantasy baseball talk as I've brought to football. So not sure where that's going to lead, but just wanted to let everybody know that it's not like we've grown to hate each other or anything like that. I've actually become pretty good friends with Kyle. And I've always been friends with Matt. So that's not going to change. But if you don't see me on here from time to time, don't think that the money started rolling in and I changed and I decided to hop off and start my own thing or anything like that. So I've had so much fun doing this. Much more fun than I even thought I would. But like I said, I'm not going away completely, but just didn't feel like I could bring as much as I have in the past. So I'm going to let you guys shine and I'll be rooting for you. And if you need me, you know where I'm at.
Yeah, I like how you do that announcement and we lose a viewer. So it begins already. Somebody said, fuck it, Ramey ain't here, I ain't here.
Yeah. Great.
My new website is www.rameyisawesome.com.
Ramsey.
Ramseyisawesome.com.
2 W's. Blue Jays wants to know if you'll be back for football. I don't know. We'll certainly have you back for football. So that's going to be totally up to Ramey.
Yeah. Like I said, I don't know where this is going to go with them. So I made it clear that if I'm trying to say it the right way, if you don't need me back for football, there's no hard feelings. I totally understand by me taking a step back, things could change. So we'll see if you'll have me. I think I'd like to do that next fall, but we're just going to leave it up in the air because we need to do what's best for the podcast.
Yeah. I appreciate that. Yeah, because this show is just going to blow up this spring, and
hey,
I
am the anchor that has been holding you guys down,
monetized with super chats and all that here. As soon as I expect it to start happening probably Tuesday.
Super chats.
Just kidding.
Yeah.
No, I love having you here and got to know you better, and you're a great guy. And fantasy baseball is not for everyone. It takes a daily commitment where fantasy football doesn't necessarily take that.
Yeah. And you saw how well I did with less than a daily commitment in fantasy football. So only imagine how good I would do with fantasy baseball. So,
and there's different leagues. Matt and I are in a league where it's just weekly moves. There's bi-weekly moves. There's daily moves as well for fantasy baseball. It just depends on what you want to do. So there are other options. We'll be helping y'all with any type of league that you're in, whether it's a roto or a points league. We're going to be more focused on points leagues for fantasy baseball. The popularity in that, it's rising, and it's a lot similar to fantasy football in that respect versus the rotisserie.
For sure.
But no. Welcome back at any time, man. Welcome back at any time. Come visit us and say, hey, man, I want to join tonight and rap about the NFL draft in a few months. That'd be all, whatever. So,
yeah. Well, same to you guys. If you want me to hop on, just let me know.
Cool.
So Blue Jays wants predictions on who's going to make the playoffs.
Okay.
So I think the Buccaneers are going to take the South. I think they'll get the dub today, and that gives us our top 4. The Eagles and Rams have already clinched, and really in the NFC, it comes down to that number 7 seed. Packers, Seahawks, Saints, Vikings, and Falcons are in the hunt for the division, but nothing else. Number 1, FTP. Number 2, I ain't trying to fuck with the Seahawks at all. 0. I would rather play the Rams than I would the Seahawks.
Yeah. I hate saying that, but it's true. The Seattle Seahawks got our number.
I'm going to say the Saints end up with that last wild card spot.
Okay. So I've kind of already talked about it. I think in the AFC, I think the Bills win. I think the Jags lose, and I think the Steelers make it into the playoffs. In the NFC, I agree with you, Matt. I think the Bucks win. I hate to say this. I think the Packers lose against the Bears. Bears have been playing well, and I think the Seahawks sneak away in.
You've been harping on the Jacksonville Jaguars an awful lot the last hour. Does it have anything to do with the fact that the Colts lost last night and you just want to see the Jags lose too and not make it?
I mean, it would improve our draft position by a couple spots. No, I just
on to next year.
Yeah. I mean, hey, why not?
I love it.
I just think they've been playing like shit the last 6-7 weeks, and Lawrence is hurt. Even if he plays, he's hurt. Hey, look, the sun's back.
You're glowing.
Yeah, I'm dying. No, I just don't. I think the Titans are going to beat them. Like I said, I might put a couple dollars on Titans money line.
Don't go into the light, Ramey. Blue Jays want seeding too.
Oh, Jesus.
This demanding ass audience. No wonder Ramey's leaving. All right, NFC seeding. Niners are first, Cowboys second, Lions lock up the third, Buccaneers. They're going to end up with the 4 seed. Your wild card teams in order: Eagles,
Eagles, Rams, and Saints.
Eagles, Rams, Saints. Yes, sir.
Appreciate it, Blue.
And AFC. I say the Bills lose.
Why
they missed the playoffs?
Okay.
And
why do you think the Bills lose? Why?
Because he has Tua as an ace.
Well, I mean, there's partly that.
Tua as a deuce.
I think it's going to be a Josh Allen turnover. I mean, the dude has 16 interceptions this year, won a game.
Yeah.
I don't see him playing a clean game today.
Because he's a hater.
Blue Jays come in here talking all that shit after being fucking persona non grata on Thursday. Didn't even show.
Hey, you didn't either. So, maybe he was
there in spirit in the chat.
Maybe he was ill. Maybe he was just ill like you were. Puking and
why
shit.
don't you describe his illness to the whole world then?
Puking and shit.
Yeah, Ravens, Dolphins, Chefs, Texans, Browns are locked in at 5. That would put, what would that be? The Jaguars and Steelers at 6 and 7?
Yep. Might put the Steelers above the Jags.
Yeah. I believe it would. Because the Jags would be, 9 and 8 if they lose today.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's my prediction. The Bills will be watching from home. Under 30 inches of snow in Buffalo. Josh Allen stabs himself in the foot while watching the Super Bowl because he dropped a knife walking back to his couch for the charcuterie board.
He dropped it after he pulled it out of his back. Shoved the knife in his back. God.
Nah.
I think
We bet with our heads, not our hearts.
I think they win. So I'd go Ravens, Bills, which is shocking. Chiefs, Texans. Then your 5 seed would be the Dolphins. 6 would be the Browns.
Dolphins would be the 5. Or Browns would be the 5.
Oh, would they? Okay.
Well, depending on, I think the Browns are locked into the 5 seed.
I think
Okay.
I believe you're right. On
So
that.
Dolphins would be 6, and then Steelers would be 7. Then in the NFC, what Matt said, except Seahawks is the 7th seed instead of the Saints.
Who would have thunk the NFC West getting 3 teams?
Let's see. Blue Jays, anyone going to the World Cup in the USA? I know you aren't soccer guys, but I think it's going to be awesome.
Oh, if they played here in Indy, I'd check it out if tickets were reasonable. I wouldn't really understand what I'm watching for the most part.
Yeah.
But I will turn on the World Cup on TV at least. Put it on as background noise. As long, God, what was that shit they had? Wasn't it South Africa hosted and it was the fucking Vuvuzelas or whatever?
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
Those
Those
were terrible.
things were bad.
I'm about to mute your ass, Ramey.
Yeah.
Rightfully so. Sounded very similar to the hockey horn, didn't it?
A little bit.
Yeah.
You're multi-talented. You're like that dude from Police Academy.
Michael Winslow, or
Yep.
Yeah, I think you're right.
yeah.
He was very talented with that.
Brother to Carl Winslow.
Family does matter.
Yeah.
It does.
Did you know Family Matters was a spinoff of Perfect Strangers?
No.
No.
Cousin Larry and them wasn't in that.
They
How
were.
was it a
was that?
spinoff?
How was that?
Carl
Yeah.
Winslow and his wife Harriet made one appearance in Perfect Strangers.
Oh, my
Are you shitting
God.
me?
I just
I
saw it on
watched those shows too. I loved Perfect Strangers. Belky.
Balky Bartakamus,
Yep.
Yeah.
Larry
Ford
Appleton.
and Joe.
Yep. So I don't know if it's a true spinoff, but they both took place in Chicago, and Carl Winslow and his wife did make one appearance in a Perfect Strangers episode.
Oh shit. Ramey with a deep
Wow.
dive.
Yeah.
Look at you got useless tidbits of information too, Ramey.
I was scrolling through Twitter last night trying to find non-Colts related items.
Yeah.
Twitter.
X, I mean.
As the razor blade was just sitting there on the end table.
It's not that. It's not that deep.
They didn't win. They threw to Goodson.
Yeah.
He should have caught that ball. You're
Yeah,
an
he should
NFL
have.
player.
It was not the greatest ball, but
The throw wasn't that great.
uncatchable.
He got both hands on that shit.
Yep.
You got to bring that in.
He said the dropped pass doesn't define him. Well, right now it fucking does.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't define him. Sure. We'll see what he says next year when he's selling insurance. All right, gentlemen.
You know,
wanna...
he won't be selling for Allstate because they're the good hands people.
Yeah, no shit. That was a good one, Ramey.
That was
thanks.
a damn good one. Love it.
Thanks.
Hell yeah. Kudos.
I think that's a good way to wrap her up.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
You want to take us home, Ramey?
Yeah, sure. I appreciate you boys. It's been a lot of fun. I know this was your baby, and I appreciate you guys letting me join you and have some fun and be idiots together and hopefully entertain some people and hopefully helps. It sounds like we help some people win some fantasy football games, and present company excluded. But looking forward to watching from the sidelines and helping whenever you need it. And but as everybody knows, these boys will be back every Tuesday and Thursday at 7:00. No longer on Sundays for Tinker Time, but maybe you'll find something similar to do when baseball season starts. And I'll be here for it. So appreciate everybody, and we'll talk very soon. Have a great Sunday of football.
See you,
Go
folks.
Lions.
Good luck.